joined for episode 2 of this Witton Albion Bat Chat by former striker Paul Hennin. How are we doing, Paul?
Very well, Paul. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. How's lockdown treating you?
Busy at the moment, luckily. Double busy. So unfortunately, the business that I work for is having to make some changes and some cuts, which I know the family are very sorry about, and it's something that they wouldn't normally do. But at this moment in time, I think they've got to do what they need to do to keep going, so that hopefully when this lockdown eventually passes, then we can hopefully all get back to some normality in our lives.
Yeah,
but so I'm very fortunate at the moment. So
good stuff. Well, obviously we've got you on to chat about your time at Witton, and we'll chat about plenty of stories and stuff. But first, I'd like to ask about your time at Macclesfield, because I know you were there for a season. Was it the season they got into the conference as well? They won the
it was more the year before. Yeah, it was the year before. Mainly, really, where was it? We were at Barnton, so there was 3 of us who used to help them out whenever they were stuck, because they only had a small squad. Very good squad. It was we had some really good players there. Yeah. So when they were struggling a little bit, so I think Terry was good friends with Gilly, who was the assistant manager at the time. So you just get a phone call, come and help us. So we go in there and just watch and be amazed that some of the, they were a very, very good side. Yeah. So it was a good learning curve for us.
And that's under Sammy McElroy, is that right?
Yeah, Sammy was. Yeah, I think they won 3 or 4 trophies that year. I think they won the Staffordshire Cup, the Cheshire Senior Cup. I think they won the league as well with a canter. So yeah, it was a very, very good side.
Just to touch on, obviously, there is a connection there with
okay.
But like, obviously, what's happened in the last sort of 12 months with the club, I mean, it must obviously nobody wants to see sort of football clubs sort of pass away.
No.
And happen as it has done with Macclesfield. You must feel a bit of sadness with how things have worked out.
Yeah, and not just Macclesfield. Other clubs that are suffering, even because without these clubs, not everybody can go and watch the big teams. And the way the Premier and the thingy football is going with VAR, and I think a lot of people are getting fed up with it. And hopefully going to watch the grassroots football, because there's nothing better, going to watch Witton and Dix and all the other teams. It seems honest football. Yeah. I get frustrated when players are falling over because they've been touched and there's holes in their faces and that. And then at least that on a Saturday afternoon at Wincham Park, it's if somebody's down injured, they're more likely they are very injured. So yeah, it's so hopefully we can do something with the minor clubs as a country, as a football society, and get them back playing. And it's terrible how I suppose some people will blame it on other things, but there's enough money in football to look after everyone, I think.
Yeah, but luckily, there's some sort of Phoenix club that's been set up.
Yeah, that'd be good. Yeah.
For some reason.
But yes,
there is going to be football back in Macclesfield, so that's
brilliant.
At least something, and hopefully they can
build
themselves back up, because when you were there, that was the start of the sort of really hitting the big time, wasn't it? Really.
I don't. Yeah.
Was that period though? That era.
It was probably a little bit. I've always been probably a little bit wary of if it was any good or not. I've always played in teams and just kept my head down and got better and better and better, and being able to adapt with the teams that I played. I mean, when I went to Witton, I was just sort of like kept my head down, like like a little schoolboy, even though I was like pushing 30. It was, there's Nigel in the corner, there's Bebo, there's Charlie, there's Coxey, and you think, should I be really sad? And most of it probably took me 12 months to actually feel comfortable. Not because of the players. The players were brilliant, and we go out for a drink and that. We had a really good net team, and Eddie and Nigel were brilliant. Eddie he's nuts, absolutely mad, but so enthusiastic. And he was, giving you so much self-belief. Yeah. So that made me feel really comfortable. I always felt as if I was, should I be here? Should I not be here? So every game to me was trying to prove something. Wasn't always the easiest time because of work. Sometimes I've done like a 15, 16-hour shift. And then probably had 3 or 4 hours sleep and then had to train. So I think the times that I had, the times to rest and recuperate, and I know football was going about now, but I had a young family at the time. You're having to look after them. My wife at the time was working, so you're trying to balance everything and drive all up and down the country. Making excuses now, but it takes it out of you physically and mentally. So I think some of them games where you look exhausted, I probably was before I even got on the pitch. But no, I had some really good times, met some really great people, learned a lot, I must admit. Because when I was at Barnton, we had a style of play because we were all big and fairly quick. We played a specific way. Yeah. But Nigel got me to play football and taught me how to, learn me how to when the ball comes in to do a little bit more of it. And so I learned probably so much in them 2 years under Nigel. Very, very intelligent footballer, and I believe he's doing some good things down at St George's. So good luck to him. He's a good bloke.
Yeah. So let's begin at the beginning. I suppose is the best way to do it. How did the move come about? Because as you say, you've been playing at Barnton, obviously a local side, and
good side, very good side. Yeah. Probably should have been a better liar.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Did you get scouted? Did you get spotted?
Yeah, we were playing. We were actually playing against Witton in the friendly.
Okay.
And Pritch was playing, and a few others. I think Eddie was playing, and we won 2-0. We really did well. And I think it was, if I remember right, that Charlie told me it was Charlie who mentioned it to Nigel. Because I think at the time Witton weren't a particularly big side, so we were lacking height, but we had a load of good players. And he just came up and said, "Do you fancy coming on a few friendlies with us?" Well, he actually asked the manager, which was a good friend of mine, Mark Emerson, who used to play at Wrexham, and he said, "I don't think he'll go," because I was quite happy with my mates. And I went, "Oh, I never thought." So I had a chat with my wife, told her where it would go, and she says, "No, we seem settled now. Go and have a go." And I had a few friendlies, and he said we want you to play, and that's how it started. It was just, I think we played at Colwyn Bay, we played Port Vale. So I must have done something half decent, but probably because I was just tall, probably couldn't find any. Probably couldn't find any other tall forwards. But no, that's how it started.
Oh, good stuff. And then, so this is 1999, isn't it? So
yeah.
Your debut against Stockbridge Park Steels, I believe, in the league.
Scored. I think we drew 1 each. I don't remember much about football, to be honest. But I remember. First header. I think we drew 1 each. But I think we were disappointed because I think we had a lot of possession, a lot of play. We just couldn't get another one. But that was the first game. Yeah.
Someone asked on Facebook when we asked for questions, was it a big step up from Barnton to Witton?
Massive.
Scoring on your debut sort of helps you settle those nerves and makes you feel a little bit like you're ready for it.
As I said before, but I don't think I ever felt comfortable, but that's good for me because if somebody turns around and says that you're not good enough to play at that level, then I don't say too much. But and so every game that I tried to play was to try and prove to myself. and to other people that I fitted in. So that's the way I tried to deal with it. And in fairness, I had a lot of conversations with Nigel and especially Eddie, just to see how I was doing. If there's anything that I need to do a little bit better. I'm always, trying to learn. So they give me a lot of stuff to think about, and then obviously in training they worked on a lot of stuff. I think my touch was the first one that they tried to get to. My fitness levels weren't where the same as what because I hadn't done pre-season with them. The pitch was bigger, obviously, and the speed of the game. So it was trying to get my fitness levels up, look after a young family, and train it as well. So it was spinning plates, to be fair. But yeah, no, very enjoyable. And as I say, I probably learned a lot in that 12 months and I'd done for a long time.
As you mentioned before, you were sort of 30 years old at this stage. So
yeah,
sort of learning and developing your game, even at, I say that late stage, but sort of you've been playing sort of 12, 13, 14 years previous.
Yes, yeah.
Must be sort of, it shows that you can still develop it at that sort of, I'm trying to find nice words to put it. Nice way to put it.
Well, no, yeah, it was. I mean, in fairness,
the latter stages of your career, sort of thing.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I had a trial with Witton a few years earlier. Yeah. I'm just trying to think. I know Nige Dealey was the assistant manager, but I can't remember the guy. And he took me down for there was a ruck of us, and he said yes, we want you to stay with us. And then I think his move as manager never materialised, so it never really happened. I mean, I know the 6 or 7 years I had it under Terry, learned massives there, but because we had this particular way of playing, it was all like through balls and over the top and harrying people. So that was our style of play. We were very successful at it. A lot of trophies.
Yeah, so even though you were sort of in your early 30s, you feel like your game really sort of stepped up that extra level? Yes,
definitely. I wish. I don't think I've had many regrets, but I wish I'd have done it earlier. I mean, Terry tried to get rid of me a few times with in the Welsh leagues. There was he had some good friends, because a lot of people who deal in amateur football know that there's a lot of good players go down to Wales and Real and TNS and places like that, and that's developed over the years. And they asked me a few times, but it was a lot of travelling. He did say, like, it's a 3-hour round trip just to go training. So probably should have done it earlier at that sort of level, just to see where I was. But again, I was in a good side with good people, really great atmosphere. So that's probably why I never bothered. And then it got to, obviously, you get to like 28, 29, and you think, well, I'll have a go at it. And worst case scenario, I don't play, I'll go back to Barnton, But I must have been doing something right. They kept me there. And I wish I'd have carried on. I mean, I know when Nige went, Eddie took over, and Eddie wanted to keep me there. But it was hard work, with working, doing a lot of driving. I was doing 50, 60, over 60 hours a week, which you can't get away with nowadays. But and again, with a new family and the travelling, I wasn't getting out. I was struggling. I was struggling mentally to do it all. And it is a regret. I wish I'd have done it another year or so, just for Eddie, because he's a big hero, man. I played with him at the Oaklands on a Sunday. Love the guy, absolute legend. And I wish I felt as if I let him down a little bit, but I had to put my family first. So I regret not trying to do it a little bit longer. So the thing is, I know I was fairly quick at Barnton's level, but when you get to that level, you've got some speed machines, so you don't rely on your pace as much. Where at Barnton and that, we had a really fast team in that league. So yeah, so it was. I learned very quickly that I wasn't as quick as I thought I was when you're playing against some of these speed merchants. So you didn't rely on I didn't rely on pace as much. So again, so the game changed, and in fairness, Nigel and Eddie changed the way because they needed somebody as a pinnacle. So they didn't want me going that way. They wanted me to go this way. So they worked on my first touch, which got better and better. It was a bit dodgy the first year, but it got better in the second year. And it did well because when I went back to Barnton after just playing locally, and it was a miles better, 100% better.
And you mentioned all those sort of Nigel Glegor and Eddie Bishop, Ronnie Sinclair,
Charlie,
well.
yeah,
Charlie.
Oh yeah,
all these sort of players who had made their name in the Football League and sort of dropped down again. But you must learn so much from people like that who have been there, got the T-shirt.
Such nice people as well. Everybody has disagreements, but I think we had such a good nucleus of people. Always willing. Charlie was brilliant. Even at his age, being at Liverpool, and I've seen him since. It was a few years ago because my daughter was spent a lot of time at Alderhay. Saw him on the football pitch. He was still playing then, and then I played a game for Eddie had a charity kind of game for his son where John played, and he was there. He's still utter class. But yeah, you learn so much. I was walking in the room, and the only person I didn't recognise was myself. You know these names and that. You think, oh, I'm sat next to him, and when you think you'd recognise someone, he's played for so and so. I think, well, where have you been? Well, Barnton, Lostock, Whittington Avenue. You're thinking, oh, right, yeah. So.
Right, I'm going to take you back to a game just after Christmas in 1999, which I'm sure lives in your memory.
Congleton, yeah. So come on as a sub.
So when we're 2-0 down when you came on, I believe.
Yes.
Obviously not been a great first half.
No, I remember it. I remember. I don't remember a lot. There's certain goals in that, but I remember that. I remember that game. I'd had a hamstring injury.
This is why you were playing.
It was why I was one of the reasons probably wasn't playing, but yeah, we were 2-0 down against Congleton. I think they had a guy who used to play for Witton scored, which Pritch wasn't very happy about. But yeah, it was. I don't remember much about the game apart from the 3 goals.
Well, that's the important part, right?
Yeah, yeah. It was, and I think obviously we're against like a local derby as well. And at Christmas time, it was very special. Yeah, very special.
So I believe it's the fastest Witton Albion hat trick ever since 1887, when the club was formed. So.
Well, I think Chad.
Minutes, that's got to be quite special.
Well, I think very. I think Chad was going to look to see whether it was a world record because there was 4 goals. It was actually under 4 minutes.
Yeah.
There was 4 goals in 4 minutes.
Congleton scored in between.
Rob Thornley scored. Yeah, I think he scored to make it 3-2. Then I scored again to make it 3 each. And I think 5-3 at the end. 5-3. I think Pritch. Yeah, I think Pritch scored ahead, and I think Nye scored. Yeah, it was. I think I'm sure Phil said it was 4 goals in 4 minutes, and so I think at the time he was going to look at it to see whether it was a world record. But yeah, it was a very special moment. But scoring a hat trick anyway. I mean, at the time, to be honest with you, didn't realise it was that fast. It was just because it got a little bit because we then scored and then we just battered them and then we scored again, so it was a bit chaotic. So you don't realise what was going on. So yeah, there's that one and the goal I got against Ashton where it was goal of the season. That was the other one, and somebody had managed to take a photo of it, but I was trying to get all to see whether he could get whether the guy had a copy because. When my gran died, I put it with that and the trophy. So I haven't got it. So I just wonder whether he'd have a copy, but whether we can trace him or not.
Yeah. Oh, I'll speak to Phil. Phil will know.
Phil will know, yeah.
But yeah, leave that one with me.
Brilliant.
So, I was going to ask about memorable goals. So the three you scored against Congleton are up there, are they?
Oh, definitely, yeah. Not because they were great goals, because the way we played, a lot of the goals that I scored were near the box.
Yeah.
Because of the way we play. I mean, I know Nigel scored some great goals, and Charlie scored. I think it was the opening goal of the second season I played. He scored a screamer, and Cox he scored a couple of guns, but most of them are in the box. But the one that I did score from edge of the box was, I think it was Ashton at home, and my sister-in-law and her husband were at the game. They were like sponsors of the day, and it became goal of the season. So that's another one I remember. Yeah, so memorable.
And then you also scored in the Mid Cheshire Senior Cup final in 2000, beating Nantwich 3-0, which is always a nice result.
Scored a header, another header. I just remember that I think they tried to play offside, and I think it was Cox. He crossed it, and as they were going out, I went in. So it was like a free header, and I don't generate a lot of power with my headers. They're all direction, but I don't actually catch this one pretty sweet, and it went right in the middle of the goal. The keeper just went. I think it hit the back of the net before he started diving. But it was. I scored, and it was the same year that I played for Barnton in another final. I'm not sure what the cup was. We played Middlewich. I think it was for Mark Emerson. So he'd asked if I'd help him out because I think he was short. And we played at Vixty's ground, and I think it's the only time anybody scored in both finals. So it was ironic because I was running their defence were running back, and I was running at him. And it was one of the lads who used to play against on a Sunday, used to play for one of the Winsford teams, and he was saying, "Go on, I'll hit it. Go on, hit it." I was about 30 yards out, so I said, "Sod it," and he hit it, and it straight over the keeper's head. He should have kept his gob shut. We won 2-1. Yeah, I think Steve Davis, not the snooker player, Steve Davis, he scored the other one. Great header. So yeah, it was. Yeah, so I think I don't think it's ever been done since. And Chad told me that he's a stato, isn't he? So he said it's never been done. Nobody scored in both finals. So brilliant.
I think it's unlikely to be broken, that one as well. The way things are, just
no.
Currently, but so yeah, two seasons at Witton. You obviously, I mean, just from listening to you right now, it seems like you had a ball and you enjoyed it, and
brilliant.
Your game came on leaps and bounds by the sounds of things.
Yeah, I don't remember much. Well, obviously, I seem to be remembering more than that I thought. But I remember the first season we had a bit of a slump where we couldn't win, and we'd had a chat, and we always used to have Eddie used to always do a quiz on the away games.
On the bus.
I never won, but he used to, because some of these guys, the football knowledge is unbelievable. Anyway, he did this quiz. He used to do this quiz every week. And after Christmas, he stopped doing it, and that's when we just couldn't win. We were drawing. So we were sat there having a pint. What's what? I says, and I just said it's since you stopped doing the quiz. Like. Well, I didn't think anybody. He just said, I didn't think anybody liked us. So we love it, and we started in the quiz, and that's when we went on that run again, where we kept on winning. It was. I know it's probably just hindsight, but it was ironic that when he started doing the quizzes away game, we won. I think we won every game, but bringing the quiz back, the lucky quiz. So remember that.
Yeah, that's an interesting talking point in terms of superstitions. Footballers are generally very superstitious, aren't they?
Yes, I have, but not telling you. Yeah, I used to always put my right boot on first.
Yeah.
And I used to always buy a particular brand. We used to always have the same brand of football boot because again, I was superstitious that they were lucky for me, so I used to always buy them.
Good stuff. Good stuff. And the Chad's given me your goal scoring records. It's 35 goals in 84 games. I think 12 of those games were substitutes appearances. So more or less one in two games. That's a brilliant record, especially considering that you'd made a step up the divisions. So must be something you're really proud of.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, when you bring in somebody in to score goals, then you're under the spotlight. I thought I actually got more than that, but if Chad says it, I thought it was close to 40. But if he says no, if he says it's that, it'll be that. But to be honest with you, so long as the team's winning and you're doing your job, then that's to me. I know. Yeah, I know if strikers are not scoring, you think, well, they're not doing the job. But if the team's winning, I mean, you look at Firmino at Liverpool. He's not prolific, but he's part of a team, a part of an engine or an oil machine that makes that work. Yeah. And to score goals as well, because I think we score goals everywhere. I think Nigel got as many. Dave and Coxey. So the goals were coming from everywhere. So he wasn't reliant on one person. But to have that sort of a strike rate, then yeah, very, very proud of it. Very. But it was a bit gutting that we didn't get promoted, and it was. We didn't build on that. I think Nigel had his hands tied a little bit with what he could bring in. So I don't think there's any surprise that we couldn't do what we wanted to do, because I think a few players had other things to do. I think Bill wasn't getting. I think he was struggling because he was self-employed and he was working. So I think we lost players and we couldn't replace them. So it was a bit disappointing from that sort of perspective. And then when he was. I think Terry took over. I certainly felt it personal that I'd let him down, because at the end of the day, we're the players. The managers are the ones that always get removed. Where I think players need to hold the hand up and say, actually, it's not all his fault. We're the players. I know they're the managers, but it's not. I took that personally. I nearly packed in, to be fair, because I felt so sorry for him, because I didn't think it was his fault. But but the problem was Terry was part of the team who made the decision, and Terry was always like a father to me. So I couldn't. It was like sticking two things up to me dad, and I couldn't do that. So, but yeah.
You mentioned before that obviously a busy sort of family life and working life meant that you kind of stepped aside and went back to play for Barnton on a regular basis. So
yeah, I think hindsight's a wonderful thing. I think if I was doing what I'm doing now, I'd have probably tried to have a go at it earlier and done it a little bit later, because I wasn't working the sort of shifts that I was working then. But it was paying my mortgage, and it wasn't affecting my home life. It was just difficult to try and balance and try to focus on, because at the time it was a driving job as well. Obviously I was driving wagons, so it's one thing you don't want to be doing is too tired at a wheel. So I felt myself stopping more of the service and that more than I should have been, because I was trying to balance that. But again, it was a shame that I did what I did, but it wasn't without reason.
A lot of people sort of forget about when you get down to the level at Witton and Barnton and that sort of thing. It's very much a case of football is very much a bit of a side.
It's the same as it's the same as playing, for Barnton, for Lostock, for Middlewich, but the standards higher and the travelling's further. And when you've been driving for sort of like 9 hours, working 14, 15 hours, and then going driving for another 2 or 3 hours, depending on where you're playing. it is mentally tough, and it's tiring. You're getting off you're trying to get your head down for a few hours, and then you get back up and you think, the last thing I need is going to kick a bag of wind about. But I wish I'd know. Experience is great, and I was probably, even though I was a little bit older, I was still very young. Experience. I didn't have the sort of experience that people like Charlie and Nigel. I think they would have dealt with it a lot better. I think I would have dealt with it better now, as I've got older and learned, got mellower, and I think I'd have dealt with it a lot better. But I was very naive, because playing at that level, just thrown in really. But yeah, it was. I don't regret it. The 2 years were brilliant. The people are brilliant. I mean, you say the fan. I don't regard them as fans. I regard them as friends.
Yeah.
You see them around the ground. They're just coming to watch a game of football. You go have a drink, which is great. Yeah. They're not fans. They're supporting the club, of course they are, but they're not fans of me. They're just people who come and watch me kick a bag of wind about. And we go for a drink afterwards. It was really nice people as well.
That's the beauty
And
football. You can go for a drink in the bar and all the players.
Yeah, and that's how it does. That's how it should be. It's how it should be. I think that's what the top league footballs are missing a little bit. With the interaction with the fans. But I still get there when I can. I'll sort of, with recent events, I've obviously not in the moment, but I have been to watch more games on a Saturday afternoon, because I've got more time to go and do that. So hopefully, when everything is back, I'll be back down there watching. Might even try and get a few away games. Get on the coach. I had a great time when I actually missed the coach on one game. I think it was Harrogate away. The cup match. I had to go with the the supporters, and I had an absolutely great time talking to them. And couldn't have a drink, but and I think I scored 2 as well. So I actually went to get back on. I actually went to get back on their bus. And Nige went, well, we usually have a drink on the way home anyway. But he says, where are you going? He says, I'm going back on the bus. He says, this is the players' bus. I says, yeah, but I came with these. And, superstitions again. I came with the supporters. I've got to go back with the support. He says, get your ass on there now. So I had to get back on the team bus. So, but yeah, really good.
Yeah, so life after football. Mentioned before we started recording that you get involved in a bit of junior coaching and stuff. So how's all that going?
Yeah, good friend of mine. He admired me for a bit to do it, and I've always tried to avoid it because of, well, you hear the stories about kids' football. Parents get a little bit excited when, at the end of the day, it's some young kids playing football. It's we got to remember what they're there for, is to learn and to enjoy. Yes, be competitive on the pitch, but you shake hands afterwards. We all have a drink. We all do that. But I heard the stories of other friends who are taking their lads, because I had 2 girls, so they didn't really have that. And people have been trying to get me to do it and do it. I'm not. The parents will be a nightmare. And in fairness, I've got to Ruddy's, absolutely fantastic club. All the parents are brilliant. They understand that. Well, they seem to understand that. They're there for the kids. They're there to enjoy and to learn. And it's a game. End of the day, we're not playing to live, to survive. It's just a game of football. Yeah, it is a bit of fun. That's what. And if they're not having fun, I mean, I get upset when one or two of them start crying, or if they've lost again. Come on, it's just a game. Don't worry about it. We'll play next time. And that's what it's about. And the only thing I would probably would like to do is do some of my badges, just to make sure that I'm teaching the kids the right things, rather than not trying to be too advanced or complicated. But I'm sure there's a few courses that I could take.
Yeah. So what age groups this? Just before we sign off.
These under 9s. There's an under 8s academy. That John runs, but it's just that 2 age groups at the moment. Where it'll go, I don't know whether we're going to try and make it bigger or. or progress, or whether they'll do it every year. You know, you never say never. We played at Holmes Chapel. And they seem to have a great setup with the plastic pitch and that, and they seem to have all sorts of age groups. So whether Ruddy could do something like that, it'd be nice. But it's you know, there's cost involved. You're relying on people to donate money. So you know, whether it's something that the FA should get him more involved, and I don't know. They might do. You know, I don't really know that side of it. So just dipping my toe in and just doing coaching and just say to him, look, what do you want me to do today and what do you want me to work on? So I tend to just do some bits with individuals. So like I'll have 4 or 5 kids. We'll do some first touch, or we'll do some passing, or
teaching them how to score goals.
we do that as well. Yeah. I just say to him, look, hit the target, hit the target, and it as hard as you can. You have to keep your eyes shut. Keep it simple for now. You know, don't try any fancy step overs or things like that, and they take it off you. Just whack it high and hard. Because a lot of the keepers, there's not many keepers that can touch the crossbar, which it's not fair really. I think the goals are the wrong size, but I just say hit it high and hard, and you'll be all right. You won't be able to reach it. So but it's good fun, to be fair. Yeah, it's good laugh.
Good stuff. Well, it's good to see that you're putting your skills and your knowledge from the game, you know, back into the grassroots. So that's brilliant. Paul, it's been an absolute pleasure catching up with you. Really appreciate you giving up half an hour of your Sunday. So
no, any pleasure.
Now, is it, mate?
Yeah, I have got some work to do. A bit behind on some stuff with work, so I might spend an hour on that and then get the oven fired up and roasty dinner on the go. Keep everybody happy. But no, it's been a pleasure. And if you need to, you know, you want to do something else, or anybody wants to get in touch and anything I can do to help, you know, it's testing times. But I think if we can all do a little bit for each other, then it'll make life a lot easier.
Yeah, that's very well said. So yeah, Paul, thank you very much. That has been episode 2 of Witton Albion Back Chat with Paul Hennin. Thank you very much. We will see you next time.
Cheers, Paul.
Cheers.
Take
Paul.
care.
Thanks a lot, mate.
Stay safe, everybody. Bye-bye.
Take care, mate.